Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is the third installment of Mastering Your Craft. I'm Hadassah, your acting connoisseur and acting teacher. I am here on this channel to talk about all things acting and the craft of it. I am a lover of the craft, a student of the craft, and a teacher of it. So I want to, you know, just talk about something that every time the subject is brought up or the question is asked, it becomes a hot topic, hot potato. It's a little bit of a sensitive thing. So I'm just going to address it. As you've read in the title, are British actors better than American actors? Well, I might venture to say, yes, but wait a minute. I think there's a different perspective. That might not be true. I think an explanation is warranted in this case. Well, first, let me start off by saying this. British actors have been a part of Hollywood, ingrained in Hollywood since its inception, basically. Um, if anyone is familiar with an actor, a legendary actor named Charles Chaplin, yeah, he was English. And he came over to America like right at the turn of the century, and he helped founded Hollywood. He, along with W.D. Griffith and I think it was Mary Pickford, who founded United Artists, and that was at the inception of Hollywood. So you see, they've been here since the very beginning, right? The thing is that if I just throw out these names, Anthony Hopkins, Michael Caine, Jane Seymour, Piers Brosnan, Sean Connery, those are legendary actors who have been in Hollywood for so long. Angela Lansbury, you forget that they're English. But with British actors, there is a different type of aura or je ne sais quoi that they bring to the small screen as well as the big screen. And there's a reason for that. If you look at actors today, like Christian Bale, Tom Hardy, you look at, I mean, Andrew Garfield, a lot of the, look, listen, I keep thinking Kate Blanchett. I could go on and on and on because so many of them have come over to Hollywood. And guess what? They learn how to speak with an American accent, which is really a skill. It's a skill. They come over here and they learn to speak with an American accent. And they're so skilled at what they do, they could just float right into Hollywood. Now, why is that? What is the fascination with British actors? Why are they so successful? Look at people like Idris Elba, Daniel Kaluuya, Cynthia Erivo, with David. How do you say it? I had it before. Oyuelo, maybe. And there's a host of British actors, Tandy Newton, that can come over here and stand toe to toe. Pierce Brosnan did this episode, or he did a series of Brits in America, and one of the episodes was on Brits in Hollywood. It's on Brits in Hollywood, right? And he was talking to an American movie producer and asked why, What is the fascination with Brits? And he was addressing the question, why are they getting hired? And the producer actually said, well, we love their accents. Now, we know that America is in love with the British accent. They're just so enamored by it. But the producer said something else. He said two things. One, they just sound more regal. See, to our ears, that's true. They sound more regal simply because they just have a different dialect. It's the English language or where it originated. And, we don't sound like that. So it sounds different. It sounds because the syllables go up, you know, at the end of every syllable, it's up, care for tea, things like that. Not to say that British people sound like that in general, but it's the idea that the second syllable goes up. So it gives the idea of their accent being more regal. The other thing that the producer said was, well, they're better trained. I was like, wow. So wait a minute. Are they really better trained? You have the legendary schools like Oxford, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, you have the British American Dramatic Academy, you have matter of fact, just about every university, just about in the UK, has a great acting program. Having trained over there myself, well, they do. It's not so much that they're better, it's how they're trained. Because then that American producer that said, well, we think they're better trained. I would ask him, you mean as opposed to people at Juilliard, Yale School of Drama, the actors from Steppenwolf in Chicago, the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York and LA? I mean, or of course, the famed Actors Studio. So I would probably argue that there's just a trend of something new, something different. It just looks different. It tastes different. There's a different type of edge. And I think what they're getting is the type of training that they have. Because here in America, a screen actor might be trained. So it's about look in the camera and be pretty. Sure, if you can be Pacino, De Niro, and be intense, there's violence and sex. So you can be intense or you can be sexy, right? Because of course there's sex, and that means you have to be pretty, right? That's when I was first in acting school. That's what the acting teacher told us. In storytelling, there's sex and there's violence. Those are the two things that drive, right? When you look at a movie like Love Actually, you don't get that. Ray Fiennes, English actor, is currently on stage at the National Theater. They've been showing these commercials. I forgot which play. They should have known that. But when you look at somebody like Ray Fiennes, who's been in cinema forever, like mainstream American cinema forever, global cinema, it's always reminding me of how much they value theater. So that's the first thing that Brits really, really value. Of course, we have Broadway. We have Broadway. But Broadway and television, although they're mediums in their own right, they can be easily seen in America as the stepping stones to the ultimate film career, being a movie star, right? Whereas in Britain, particularly London, theater is a part of the fabric. It doesn't have, sure, there's films, there's television, but every actor, whether they're famous or not, understands the importance of theater. So Daniel Craig, after he does Bond, you know what he did? He goes back to the stage. That's how they work on their craft. It is it is as important as going to an award show or doing a press junket. That's just what they do. When I first got there to study, just the level of value of doing theater, they believe they can do theater anywhere. They can do theater on the corner and it is respected. Here in New York, it's theater in the park, but it's an event. It's not something that's normal every day. Sure, there are theater entities where, they do theater everywhere, but in terms of how it is regarded for the actor, yeah, I think London definitely, they take, you know, the baton on that one. They believe in theater everywhere. And so I think that that's why they train the way that they train. I think that they're very craft oriented. They study the tools, the craft, the substance of what acting is. And so when you look at television and film there, yeah, it mimics America. Everyone's mimicking America these days. And I think so much of America is getting ingrained in the UK. It almost saddens me because maybe some of the distinction will go away. But British television has a different, unique texture to it because of culture. Their culture is different. And it isn't as glamorous as one might think. It isn't, you can look at it and see that, you know, they just do television straightforward. It isn't about trying to make things sexy and glamorous. Judi Dench, who is the creme de la creme of acting, you know, she did a TV. Just about every actor has done television over. Like it's a part of who they are. And I think, yeah, Judi Dench actually did a TV series called Life Goes By, Life Passes By. And it was just a regular comedy, that she just did. It wasn't that she had to be in every great film, from the time she was 20. And you have this movie, what have you, career without the doing television. Because, of course, here in America at one time, doing television was considered, you don't do that, it's a step down. Now, because everyone is doing everything, now it's not regarded as that. And that's a good thing because it means actors can work. The movie business is changing every, 3 to 5 years. Television changes every 5 years. So this idea, and I can, where it originated from, well, it didn't originate. Let me not say that. It's been a debate for a very long time. But recently, maybe a couple of years ago, um, Samuel Samuel Jackson sort of said he made a remark about British actors getting all the jobs. And he was talking about British black actors, so that started some type of debate. And it, it I understood where he was coming from because American actors, especially American black actors, are grinding every second to get their opportunity in this business. So when they see these directors and producers who they're constantly appealing to, my eye is watering. Sorry, guys, a little bit of maintenance. But when you see that these American producers who are who they're constantly clamoring to, appeasing to get jobs, and then suddenly you see them going to England or even Australia, because that's a whole nother thing. You've got Russell Crowe, Nicole Kidman, Guy Pearce, you know, uh, I can't think, Margot Robbie, and the late great Heath Ledger. All of, just wow. So when you see them going elsewhere and they're discovering all these great actors, a lot of them they do television, and they become really big in television over there, and it's not seen as a step below, or even the great Hugh Jackman, right? So between Australia and England, it still seems like there's this British feel, there's this regal feel. But the idea is that it's just a matter of, there is a difference in how they train. There just is. There's a difference in how they train. I'm not going to say that it's better. I don't think it's necessarily better, because Angela Bassett, I mean, Viola Davis, both Juilliard graduates. Well, no, Angela came from Yale School of Drama, and Viola Davis came from Juilliard. So there. So that's why you can't say it's better. I think I think it's a trend. I think it's recognizing. I think it's of recognizing really good talent, because if you look at somebody like Tom Hardy, who is excellent at morphing, you know, he's a morphing actor. So is Christian Bale. I'll do a video about that, talking about actors who love to morph, who literally change their appearance. And again, that's part of the craft of acting. That's what we're taught in acting school. We're taught to become someone else other than yourself, which means you take on their mannerisms, you take on, you know, characteristics and costume. Brits are so excellent at doing that. Brits have a different way of doing humor. They're a lot more straightforward. Sometimes it's what they find funny and how they find things funny. They are able to morph into American culture a lot easier than how we morph into British culture. Think about that for a second. I just wanted to come on and talk about that and just say, no, I mean, we have great training here. We are great at the craft here. I think we're just more commercial, pop culture, glamorous. I mean, we can get more surfaced with it, whereas Australia and Britain and really anywhere in the world, hello, Javier Bardem, anywhere, if you look, let's see, yeah, Penelope Cruz and Selma Hayek. Hi, if you look at anywhere else in the world, yeah, they're more craft oriented. I'm actually going to do an analysis of that. So right now I'm just doing these videos raw and just expressing my thoughts. I'm just answering questions because it's been on my mind. And I'm just doing it like this. I'm just getting started. This is episode 3. And yeah, I'll be talking about those things more. I'll be getting more visual with it. So I just wanted to just come on here and just talk about those things because it comes up a lot. It's something, what happens? It comes up, we see it, it's visual. It's one of those things where it hits the optics a certain way and we hear the accent. Like for instance, on YouTube, if you just listen to the average infomercial, sometimes you'll hear a British voiceover or an Australian voiceover, maybe because it sounds more, regal and inviting. That doesn't mean that we don't. So we have to talk about this, probably do a part 2 of this, of what effect does that have on, the industry here? What effect does it have on the industry and people getting work? Because there is a time where it seems like, you know, it's about the British actor. Okay, so I just want to come on and say that. Forgive my eye. It tends to tear a little bit. Yeah, it tends to tear a little bit. But I'm human too. I'm human, guys. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that because I know that actors think about that. They talk about that. Anyway, that's it. I'm not going to keep rambling on. So stay tuned for the next video. I will come back to you next time. But thank you for tuning in. I am trying to start a community of just talking about the craft of acting and actors, talking about these things, actors talking to actors. All right. So thank you for tuning in. It's an awkward goodbye. Bye.